Is the mask really real? A raft of wondering otters, thank you for joining us this morning. And it's a special occasion, more or less.
You want to plug in my phone?
After another very long hiatus, and I've been working on another project, editing.
It's called The Mask We Wear.
A personal, private project, and yes, Paul is working on a. He is writing a book. You want to?
It says we all wear masks. The triumph over COVID-19.
I like it, and he's got a table of contents that's actually very interesting. And Paul, share some more about your book.
Well, it all started when my world turned upside down. When the bad days happened. It was the reign of COVID-19.
Bum bum bum.
But I thought I was about to go first.
Oh, okay. Now, this is serious. Paul talks about hurting himself, and I mean the S word, suicide, when he says he wants to go first, meaning that he wants to pass away before his mom and dad. And I think all kids at some point in their lives, or all children or offspring, struggle with losing their parents and death in general, and that's not an easy thing, not by any stretch of the imagination. And I think that's what Paul's struggling with right now, is trying to come to terms with some eventualities. More about your book. I think this book is a real positive thing.
It's really positive.
Yeah. What are the chapters again? Do you remember?
Yes. Bad days had just started. The misery of the shelter in place. My plan to commit the S word. The founding of the Lily White program. Fears over face masks and social distancing. My deputation. The vaccine to kill the COVID virus for good. The waiting game. A key to hope.
I love it. It's, he did that entirely on his own, and I don't know. I write a little bit, but I'm not sure I write that well. So, gee whiz, Paul, very impressive. All right, so Paul, it is fairly early in the morning. It's 8:18. I guess it's not real early, but it's like commuter hours. And Paul requested a drive, so he and I are going to take a quick drive here, and we're going to avoid seeing mask and see what we see. So come see what we see. Right?
Okay.
Paul, you're not in the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah? Talk to the camera.
Yeah.
Talk to the camera.
Yeah. Hi.
See what we see.
Hey, Mom, I'm going to be better now.
Oh, that's good. That's good news. And what's responsible for this change?
No more face masks once we have the vaccine.
Well, yeah. By what we can research and estimate, there are already vaccines that are in testing now. So the vaccines are there, but they just have to do safety testing. I'm sure there are other countries that play a little faster and looser with their drug regulation. So they'll probably have the vaccine already in use and use their population as guinea pigs. But anyway, I do like the fact that the United States does test thoroughly. There have been so many politics about this, so much politics, and I think there's a lot of creative shade throwing. Whenever there's a crisis, It's never enough. I'm always kind of reminded of the crisis that Senator Palpatine created in Star Wars so that he could seize power. So I try to immunize myself against crisis mongering and blame games like, this politician's responsible for it. No, this politician is, and I try to avoid all that. It doesn't really make my life better. So, womp womp womp. Sorry, not playing. Anyway, we're gonna go see what we see. Sorry, just so much to talk about. It's been so long since we've done a video, right? Right. Okay, Paul, what are we gonna go see?
Miss Anderson?
Well, we can't see her yet, but we're gonna pick her up later. Yeah. But now it's not time to pick her up.
Maybe Country Roads.
Okay, so roads. Don't wear a mask. So that will be our random task. Take us, and then we'll go home. And then we'll go out again from country roads. Thank you. Thank you very much. Come see what we see. Thinking about the mask, Paul.
What?
It's a temporary thing. It helps keep myself and others safer. It's not 100%. It's kind of like
suffocation. When you're in that
pregnancy prevention devices.
When you're in that face mask, wearing that thing,
don't always work.
It's suffocation.
So Paul considers it suffocation. Now, Paul, tell everybody how often you've worn a mask.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, he hasn't worn one, so he doesn't really know. But I got to say this. I know somebody that wore an N95 mask. So that's the one that is like medically approved, even though it was an old mask this person got for painting and happened to have around. But anyway, long story short,
I want to liberate the people.
I know you do. When he wears that mask going to places like Costco or whatever, by the time he's done, he is feeling faint and out of breath. So yes, I think there's something to that. I don't think people, truly suffocate, but it does hamper your breathing. Absolutely.
I guess everyone in amusement parks who bought a season pass want their money back.
Well, that's always possible, son.
They didn't want to go for temperature scannings.
That's true. In case you don't know, there are some states where amusement parks have been able to open under certain restrictions, and among those restrictions is
the scan of shame.
A temperature scan to see if they're running a fever, plus obviously wearing a face mask and then social distancing. But actually, right here in California, Knott's has had, through a stroke of genius, there's a loophole. People can't ride rides here in California, so that part of Knott's Berry Farm is not open. But Knott's Berry Farm has had a food festival where people could come in for the food and people could come in for the food, but they can't ride the rides, but they can see the sights and enjoy. Actually, I think what they did was, we were all set to go to the Boysenberry Festival this year. We were planning on it, and because it is actually fabulous. We really love the Knott's Berry Farm Boysenberry Festival. Unfortunately, for obvious reasons, it got canceled this year. But in a stroke of genius, Knott's had all that money invested and all that food and signage and everything else, and so they went ahead and kind of reinvented the Boysenberry Festival and repurposed the park to just host a gathering, so to speak, a food gathering, a food festival, no rides, and it's brilliant. Several vloggers and reviewers have gone there and they just love it. So I think hats off to Cedar Fair and Knott's Berry Farm for their workaround, with the California rules. So anyway, that's where it is at this point. There are some parks that have opened, but even at Knott's, you have to do a temperature scan, you have to wear a mask, you have to social distance.
And it's embarrassing. It's bad for image.
Well, you could say that, son. You could say that.
We show them what frauds we show what frauds the governors are.
Well, we won't know until we know. Well, there could be there could come a time when we find out that there was skullduggery involved in the whole COVID crisis.
Skullduggery, what's that?
Well, skullduggery is sneaking, scheming, evil intentions. So we may find this out at some point.
Hopefully get the guy behind bars.
Well, yeah, that's right. If we were to find this out, Paul's mentioned doing some really awful things. Should we find such people responsible, and we have to keep kind of reminding them that we live in a country where there's due process, and people have even people that are accused, or even if we know they did it, they have a right to due process and a trial by jury should they want one.
Or trial by combat.
Well, we don't do trial by combat. See, this isn't Game of Thrones, and that's not how we roll. But all that being said, yeah, the anger is legit. I mean, there would be some righteous anger if it was to come out that this was we'll say a manufactured crisis of some kind, or maybe nature came up with this virus, but then there were people who decided to
make it
exploit the virus and make it work against
us.
Yeah, certain people in the world.
Well, I have a song for that.
You do? Okay, well, I think this will be about the last thing because we're getting overtime here. So real quick, I want to hear this song. And hang on. Yeah, it's about time to finish because I try to keep these under 15 minutes. So, a Raft of Wandering Otters, thank you for joining us today. And we're going to close with Paul's song about the COVID conspiracy crisis. Go.
Okay, here it is. On phone. They don't really care about us.
Oh, okay. They don't care about us. Okay. All right.